on Salvage Hunters classic cars.
Oh my God, yes.
The boys are seduced by a legendary GT.
This is best of both. This is British craftsmanship, American muscle.
And take their biggest financial risk to date.
We need to replace nearly every panel on this car. I think there's 25 grand to put into this thing.
An incredible discovery gives them hope.
Oh my word, look at that. That's it, that's the car.
But after a 4-year-long restoration, will they see a profit or make their first ever loss?
Ooh, this is a monster job, isn't it?
What a thing!
Drew Pritchard and Paul Cowland are taking the classic car game by storm.
We're going to make money, and we're going to have fun doing it.
With Drew's trademark eye for design.
It's a great piece of design and works beautifully.
And Paul's 25 years of car dealer know-how.
The sun has crazed that, and it's just blistering away.
The pair scour the country looking for cars to buy.
I'll tell you what, 22.5 and we're done. We can do that. Marvellous. Absolutely.
Restore.
Oh, look at that. That is the magic moment. That's brilliant.
And sell on.
That is a work of art, isn't it?
They may not always see eye to eye.
You can keep that, Paul. I want nothing to do with it.
But backed by an army of automotive restorers.
You've made this from scratch?
Yes.
The results speak for themselves.
It's without doubt our finest restoration.
From chic runarounds to stylish saloons, affordable classics are the bread and butter of Drew and Paul's business. But the boys are also keen to attract serious high-end collectors. And today they have a lead on a luxurious British GT that could transport them into the big leagues.
We are in Cheshire, and we're off to see a Jensen Interceptor.
Nice.
It's the full-fat 7.2 V8 Chrysler motor.
Mark III?
Mark III. Got the best grille, in my opinion.
Yeah, they do look nice.
I like these cars, and they're coming into their own.
Launched in 1966, the legendary Jensen Interceptor combined sleek Italian styling with high-quality British craftsmanship and American V8 power. Technologically advanced and critically acclaimed, the Interceptor rivaled the very best GTs from Jaguar and Aston Martin. And 50 years on, values are starting to reflect that.
Prices for Interceptors have started going from 10 years ago, 3.5 grand, 5.5 grand.
Yeah, they were for nothing, weren't they? Not long ago.
80,000 quid.
So what kind of price bracket are we in?
25,000.
£25,000? It's not going to be that good then, is it?
For a tatty Jensen.
Yeah. There's only so many hours you can put into a car and keep it economically viable, aren't there, really? That's the problem.
Yes.
Cross your fingers, because at 20-something grand,
I know.
it's not going to be a
It
good
could be
one.
a right snotter, couldn't it?
Exactly.
Drew and Paul are heading to meet Duncan Watt, a car fanatic with a passion for powerful GTs.
I served my apprenticeship doing auto gearboxes. We actually used to see quite a lot of Jensens, and I absolutely fell in love with them. I had my first Jensen at 19. It's a really lovely shaped car, and that big Chrysler V8 engine.
Morning.
Hello. Hello, mate. Hiya. How you doing? Drew?
OK, you? Hello, Drew. Good to meet you, sir.
Hiya, Paul. You OK?
Good to meet you.
Yes, sound,
That's
thank
a
you.
bit special, isn't it?
As we turn into Duncan's house, you can't really miss the Bentley Supersports that he has on the driveway. It's bright orange. We are dealing here with a petrol head. I mean, look what he's driving. They're crazy motors. Anyway, we're here to see a Jensen.
You are?
In here?
Yes, yes.
Very much looking forward to seeing this.
Good. I hope you are.
I love this one.
Oh, yes, there you go. Look at that front end.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. Love it. First thoughts when I see the Jensen is, what a good-looking car. It's a Playboy's motor. It's somebody who's in your face, got tons of cash, and doesn't care. Good-looking. I like it. The design of the car is odd, but it works. It does have cues almost to American cars in some ways, but the nose, doesn't the nose look like a Fiat? It looks like a two-seater, but it's a big GT. It's a really clever piece of design.
Paul was expecting to see a car in very poor condition, but so far he's pleasantly surprised.
All of that leather can be recolonised. It's not split, it's not worn too much. The headliner's really good as well.
I love that pleated headlining.
But to properly assess the car's bodywork, they need to get it out into the daylight.
That sounds wicked.
Oh, it's the best sound.
Duncan fires up the V8 and what a burble, what a noise. Nothing really sounds like a big, massive V8.
That does sound quite happy though, doesn't it?
Yeah. There you go, guys. Right, we'll have a poke.
It's soon clear why the car is so cheap.
I'm just having a look. To be fair, every panel needs
There's a bit of...
And if you have a squeeze around here, look underneath, you can feel. But under here, mate, it's a little bit rotten, to say the least. There are loads of specific places to look on a Jensen Interceptor for rust, and I'm pleased to say ours has all of them. But here, there's more rot than you'll ever see in your life. If you press with your thumbnail...
Go on, stick your finger through it.
No.
Go on.
Because I don't know if my tetanus shot's up to date. When you buy cars like this, over the years, a lot of them get doctored, fillered, painted over, and that hides a multitude of sins. So, but things like the sills, until we cut into those and see what's actually left, we don't know how much money we're going to have to spend.
Paul may be starting to worry.
That's had a bit of a repair, hasn't it?
But Drew's trying to see past the problems.
Great looking car, though. Really good looking.
Yeah, if you lift the boot mat, you can see a few strips there of the original colour. That's it.
There you go.
Oh, that's nice.
That's a cool colour. I prefer that, actually.
The original blue paintwork isn't the only secret that Jensen's hiding.
It was a Jensen factory demonstrator, this car.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
If you could get it back to that and you can prove the provenance of that, that's something else altogether, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Provenance on anything really helps. Adds value, makes the sale easier. If we can find out whether this car was the press car, it will add a layer of history. And if we can find photographs of this car, that will really help.
If this was a demonstrator,
Yeah.
and we can find pictures of it at a motor show or something like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
It goes exactly right down to the tyres, the valve caps,
everything.
back to how it should be.
It will be easier said than done, though. Jensen's were handmade using traditional coach building techniques. So restoring one requires extremely rare specialist skills and very deep pockets.
We've just got to be super realistic in terms of bodywork, though, because we need to replace nearly every panel on this car. I think there's 25 grand to put into this, you know, just so you know.
Yeah. So it'd be 50,000 into it.
Yeah.
And
I
a
think-
real good one's fetching 70 to 80,000.
This is uncharted waters for us, taking on a restoration like this where the potential costs are so high and the risks are potentially so big. It could go really wrong.
Can I have a drive?
Absolutely, yes. You guys take it out, see what you think.
Would you like the high horn or the low horn?
Ooh.
Do you want to try them both?
I'll always want the high
Try that one. Or... Just give it a little bit of a blip, just a little bit of a... Oh, that's why you buy one, isn't it? Oh, it just sounds amazing. But this is best of both. This is British craftsmanship, American muscle, Italian style.
Italian styling.
This car makes even you look cool.
This is the car for the guy who can't afford an Aston Martin.
But has as much cachet.
That's exactly the right word. The cachet of an Aston Martin without the price. Bosh. What other car is there? What other car is there?
Restoration-wise, we have got a mountain rather than a molehill to climb on this. I think it will need a lot of panels.
That is why, and I think if we can go back and get it for... Let's try and knock him a couple of grand off if we can. Hello.
Hello, guys. How do you get on?
It's all right, isn't it?
Yeah.
I like it.
You like it?
Oh, yeah,
Good.
you can't not like... It's charming to drive.
They are, aren't they? Yeah.
So, you're asking, what, 24? I'd be
Yes.
very happy at 20.
Drew, I couldn't let you have it for 20. No.
In Cheshire, Drew and Paul are bidding on a rare Jensen Interceptor with spectacular provenance, which could make it a banker.
It was a Jensen factory demonstrator, this car.
Really?
Yeah.
But it's a big risk. With the restoration looking like it could cost well into 5 figures, Drew wants to get as much off the asking price as possible.
You're asking, what, 24? I'd
Yes.
be very happy at 20.
Drew, I couldn't let you have it for 20. No. It's got some good areas to it for sure, but I admit it wants a lot of bodywork.
If we can say, I'll tell you what, 22 and a half and we're done.
We can do that.
Marvellous.
Absolutely.
Thank
Thank you very
Don.
much.
Legend.
Smashing. Thank you,
Thank
Paul.
you, mate.
Been a pleasure, it really has.
Very happy with the deal. If you're going to restore one of these things and spend all that time and effort, that's the one to do it to. That is somebody's dream car.
Until we start stripping all that bodywork back, we don't really know. There's still a bit of finger crossing to do, I think.
While it's obvious the external bodywork needs repairs, the condition of the car's underlying structure is a big unknown. So at the workshop, head mechanic Michael's first priority is to start digging deeper.
That's not your happy face, is it?
No, it isn't. Have a little look.
That's really bad. Oh, man. That's all got to come off, hasn't it?
Yeah, same, both sides, exactly the same.
It's just horrible. Don't get me wrong, this car was always full of filler. You could see it needed money spending on it, and I'd budgeted well into 5 figures for this car. The problem we've now got is when you look at the quality, in inverted commas, of the repairs in even bigger inverted commas, it's just a collection of bodges.
It's worse than Paul feared. The Jensen's bodywork is rotten to the core.
Man,
It's not well, is it?
what a lemon.
And putting it right could mean hundreds of hours of skilled fabrication work.
It's basically the entire floor, other than the central vane, inner and outer sill, and probably the bottom 6 inches of the bodywork, isn't it?
Yeah.
All around.
I would say so, yeah.
The big problem with the Interceptor is it's a very specialist construction. Unlike other cars, which are just simple pressings, either robot welded together, this is made of a succession of very small, individually formed panels which have to be put together. And the problem that leaves me with is the cost of that restoration probably exceeds the value of the car. This is a monster job, isn't it?
Massive job.
Blissfully unaware of this game-changing revelation, Drew's heading to Nuneaton to delve into the car's history. He's hoping to get confirmation that their Interceptor was Jensen's press demonstrator.
Before we do anything, we need to know the history. Anything with a history, particularly factory press cars, anything like that, will always command a premium. Luckily, there is one person we can talk to, and it's a guy called Martin Roby.
For over 40 years, Martin Roby's engineering firm has been producing body panels for classic British cars. And in 1993, when Martin heard that Jensen had gone into liquidation, he spotted an opportunity.
I bought everything that was for sale. The tooling, the spare parts, the intellectual property rights, all the chassis records, everything.
Martin's haul included archives with detailed information about every Jensen car ever built.
Hi, Drew.
Martin, how you
Welcome
doing?
to Martin Roby's.
Thank you for having me. We've got an extremely rusty Jensen
Oh, that's our business.
with an inconclusive history.
OK, we'll go have a look.
Thanks to their collection of specialised tooling, Martin's firm can produce brand new panels for Jensens and a variety of other British classics.
I should imagine the panels you're producing now are better than the factory ones.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Talk about impressive. He started with 2 kids and a tenner. He said that's what he started with, nothing. And he started this multi-million-pound firm that sells the best reproduction panels for British cars around the world. It's deeply impressive. But what we're really here to see is the paperwork.
These are the particular chassis files in the sort of realms of your vehicle.
Well, ours is chassis number 1284848.
I believe this is the one.
Wow.
There's hundreds and hundreds of folders in here, each one representing a single Jensen motor car. And he pulls ours out. It's there.
So this is your vehicle. There's
This
a
is
fair
our
bit.
vehicle.
There's a fair bit there.
Royal blue. It ain't royal blue now.
Well, you know what it's got to be now.
Mechanical inspection sheet all gone through. This is brilliant. Okay. Ah,
What have you found
it's
there?
there. That's it. Sales demonstration car.
There you go.
Service department, date 1st to the 9th, 72. From the sales department to the company secretary. Sales demonstration car. NEA 5L. It hasn't got that registration number on it anymore.
It may be still available.
Yeah.
Jensen had a handful of cars that it used for press or sales demonstrations, and each had a unique registration plate featuring the letters EA.
Oh my word!
Oh, look at that.
That's it. That's the car. Clearly an important car. A photograph of NEA 5L right outside the Jensen Motorworks with all the crew, with all the staff. And that's why I thought, well, that's it. OK, that's it. We've got all the history for this car now. And then it got just that little bit special.
Jensen's demonstrators were sometimes loaned to notable celebrities and VIPs.
Oh, hello. P. Jopp, Esquire, 1972. Thank you very much for sending the Interceptor 3 NEA 5L in such superb condition. Judith and I will enjoy every mile to Paris. This is a letter from Peter Jopp, famous 1950s, 60s racing driver.
Peter Jopp raced at the top level in everything from rallying to single-seaters. And in 1956, he scored a memorable class win in the Le Mans 24 Hours.
That folklore, that myth that we thought might be true, but was just a bit of a story, is true. It is that car. This now basically says we've got to restore the car back to factory.
But Drew's discovery may be too little too late.
Hello, hello.
Hello, mate.
How you doing, all right?
Better than this.
Go on then, where are we?
Just take a good look. Drink it in, because I'm going to list it tonight.
Why?
We've had a proper look.
Yes.
And a bit like you, really. On the outside, it looks OK. Underneath, just done.
Go on. How bad?
Well, what do we... 20-odd grand car, isn't it? It's going to need 50, potentially 60 something.
On top?
On top. If you look at the numbers alone, it doesn't make that much sense to put 60 grand into it.
Well, we're going to do it.
Why?
We're going to do it because I found out it is one of their fleet cars. It's a press car.
For
Back
sure?
in the day, for sure. I can get, I think, the original number plate that the car came with. This is a big risk. We're £22,000 into that car already, and it's a rot box. It's knackered. If we're right and prices keep going up, I think we'll come out the end of it with a wedge, a big one, and the kudos of rescuing one of the press cars.
If you really want to do it, I understand the appeal now. It's a very different car than it was 10 minutes ago.
I really think we should do it.
OK. If you're cool with that, then...
But it might not be that bad.
I know, well, I like your optimism. It's very unusual.
Okay. History, as I bang on about all the time, is everything. And that one has got a great history. It's going to be worth it.
Drew is banking that this Jensen's unique history will mean that they can get over £80,000. But even with such a hefty price tag, this job is so expensive, it's still touch and go whether they can make a profit. To get top dollar, the car will have to be perfect, and the handcrafted bodywork it needs is too complex to be handled in-house. Before taking a massive 5-figure gamble, Paul and Drew decide to park the project and think about it. A rare Jensen Interceptor could be the most expensive restoration Drew and Paul have ever taken on.
20-odd grand car, isn't it? It's going to need 50, potentially 60 something.
On top?
On top.
To bankroll this hugely expensive project, they've had to sell some other cars. It's now almost 2 years later, and finally the boys have enough cash to start work on the Jensen again. The car has been sent ahead to specialist restoration firm Woodham Mortimer, and under the guidance of project manager Steve Moore, the team starts stripping it down. With the Jensen reduced to a shell, Paul has arrived to see what they think.
Good afternoon.
All right.
Yeah, good to see you.
Mate, likewise. I don't know where to look. You got a Bastos SD1. I've got to see this because I had this as a scale extra car. Is that the one?
That is a genuine one, yes.
Wow. I've walked into this place today for the first time in my life, and it's Santa's Grotto. One of my childhood heroes, the Bastos Rover SD1 circuit car, beautifully prepared. These guys are working to an extraordinary standard. It's just blown my mind.
Restoring cars to this standard needs a workforce trained in traditional crafts like coach building and metal fabrication. It's these heritage skills that will be so vital when it comes to the boys' Jensen.
We've bought a car that is worse than we thought, if we're honest. There's only one way to go. You have to fully commit, go all in, just do the whole car properly, cut all of the rust out, fit new panels. So the first job really is to see what we've got.
Steve's team start by carefully removing the paint layer by layer. This should show up any rust or areas where filler's been used to make repairs.
This bit's giving me hope. Look, this is actually metal with no filler.
Yeah, I think if you take some off around the arch, Craig.
Ooh. That is quite thick, isn't it? That's a bit more than a skim.
It certainly is. I'm sure that goes a lot further up there as well.
Oh, go on, let's just keep digging. Let's see how bad it is.
Every bodged repair or patch of rust will have to be cut out and replaced with either fresh metal or, in severe cases, a whole new panel.
Unfortunately, it's kind of what we feared. It's just millimetres of filler, millimetres of epoxy, and fairly average paint. And if you start digging that away, underneath is just holes, rust, and basically that has all got to go. The whole bottom 6 to 8 inches of the car.
That would be cut out.
We're going to need loads of tiny little repair panels on this car to fill up those holes, those cauliflowers and rust and bubbles. Patches, basically, neat, perfectly made, integral patches. Just make me feel better before I go. Let's just knock up one repair panel, just so I can.
One of the many.
Just so I can see.
Each corroded section will be replaced with brand new steel. The patch is measured and cut to size, and then skillfully shaped to seamlessly blend with the curves of the car.
The line of that roof swage is so perfect, first go, by eye. That is pure talent.
Yeah, the right staff make the jobs look easy.
Yeah, they do.
But some areas are too far gone even for Craig's fabrication skills. The entire rear wing, known as the rear quarter panel, needs to be replaced. The job will not only be costly, but will take months. It's a job for the original presses, which are being fired up back at Martin Roby Engineering in Cheshire. A sheet of flat steel is cut to size and placed into the machine, which uses 300 tons of force to press the brand new rear quarter panel into shape. Excess metal is trimmed off using a very modern laser cutter. But the rest of the finishing is completed by hand, with every tiny imperfection either hammered or filed smooth. With the Bodyworks rescue mission now well underway, next on the agenda is the interior. The leather seats have aged remarkably well, so need little more than a good clean. But the same can't be said of the gear knob. So Drew's taking it to leather repair wizard Paul Darby, who works from a state-of-the-art facility at the end of his garden.
Start when I want to, finish when I want to, and which is normally 6 in the morning and 10 o'clock at night. But yeah, it's good fun. It ain't pressure. There's no pressure behind it at all. So you do live the dream, really, didn't you? Fred in the shed, as they call us.
Paul, how are you, mate?
Fine, thank you. Yourself? Ah,
A completely worn out, let's call it, gear knob off at Mark III Jensen Interceptor. Absolutely knackered. So basically, can you redo that in black leather for me, exactly the same as that, please, mate?
yes. We'll just dissect it by taking the leather off first.
He can see that it's going to be a little tricky to do it because of the way it's been manufactured. And he's like, oh no, give it here. And within 2 minutes, he stripped all the old leather off it, and he's got his little bradawl, and he's digging out the remnants of the leather out of the top of it.
I'm conscious of the wood breaking on the edge because it's so very thin. I think we're deep enough.
With the tired old leather gone, Paul starts prepping the new cover.
Right, a bit more leather down.
He carefully tapers the top of the thick hide to allow him to tuck the edge into the top of the gear knob.
Once you've taken the edge of the leather off, I can turn it in.
Yeah, I got you. Did it so quickly, just pulled it round and just cut. And that's the skill of just doing thousands of them.
And then I'm going to put a joint in with a very fine stitch so that I can then roll the whole lot back over the gear knob.
I love watching other people working. Can watch it all day.
Yeah, it's inside out at the moment, and then we'll just flatten the seam as best we can.
It's a tight fit, but Paul has judged the size perfectly. To secure the ends, he adds a special wood adhesive before tucking the leather into the recessed groove at the top of the gear knob.
But I've got to tease it in and make it work. There you go, Drew. All finished.
That now, Paul, that's the best bit of our car. Best piece of it. Thank you, mate. Right, we'll be in touch. Thank you, Paul.
Yeah, problems.
So, what does all that wonderful detail cost me? 120 quid. Happy to pay that because it's one of the first things you handle in the car, and now it's basically as good as new.
It's now been several months since Paul left the Jensen with specialists Woodham Mortimer, and he's heading back to check on progress.
Welcome back to the ongoing saga that is the Jensen Interceptor. It's just going on and on and on, but that's what happens with a hand-built car.
Freddie Brown is the lead technician on the Jensen's bodywork, and for him, it's not so much a job as a calling.
My dad and granddad have always been into classic cars, mainly my dad because he's a panel beater, Rolls-Royce trained, so seeing him do stuff, I'd like to do that as well.
The last time Paul saw the Interceptor, it was 80% rust
Flipping heck. That is not our car.
and 20% filler.
Freddie! Hello, mate. This isn't our car, is it?
It is, yeah.
It just doesn't look like the same car. Where before there was rot and bits cut away, she's starting to look whole again. She's starting to look like the car she would have looked like on the production line when she was new.
Today, Freddie is fitting Paul's freshly pressed rear quarter panel.
Oh, wow. Now that fits like it's meant to.
The panel is temporarily screwed in position before being spot welded in place. But this leaves joins where the wing meets the other panels that need to be closed up. On most cars, this will be done using modern fillers. But to keep this build true to Jensen's original production techniques, they're going to use a more traditional process.
So now I guess old school lead.
Yep.
The mid-60s saw most manufacturers adopt modern mass production techniques. Jensen, however, refused to let go of their traditional coach building methods. Lead loading involved heating the soft metal until it became a moldable substance that could be used to fill panels.
Got a little bit of lead solder paste on the joint.
So we get it super clean.
Yeah, you gotta have it dead clean before, otherwise it won't stick to it.
Oh, look at this. It's literally taking a lead bar, heating it until it melts, and then smoothing it over, almost like you're icing a cake. You only get a few seconds, don't you, before it goes back off again?
Yeah, we get to this sort of plasticine state where you can push it about. And that's when you can move all of it. Like that, and just drag it.
He's folding that into that crease, it's filling every little tiny hole, and then all the way down the panel he goes. Mate, that is immense. Look at that. You think there's an ugly big scar there, it's all gone. You've got that lovely flow back. Oh, that's beautiful, mate.
And we finish with the body file.
Watching that quarter panel go on, the quality of the work is beautiful, isn't it? But it's going to come at a cost, a great cost, to work to that kind of standard. And Drew and I have never been this deep into a resto before. And it does worry me because it means if we don't sell this car for top money, and I mean
top money at the end of this, we are in a hole. We're upside down.
Having bought a Jensen Interceptor in 2018 and uncovered its remarkable provenance.
Oh my word, look,
Look at that.
That's it, that's the car.
2 years of restoration makes this the boys' longest and most expensive project to date.
That's a bit more than a skim.
To get a return on their huge investment, every inch of the car will need to be perfect. And next on the agenda is the Interceptor's distinctive rear window. The curved glass is covered in scratches, and if it was any other car, they'd simply order a replacement. But rear screens for the Interceptor are impossible to get hold of, so Drew has come up with a plan B.
I'm off to see Mike and Ashley, who are going to do a very sort of old and now not a skill that you'd really see very often. They're going to repolish the windscreens front and back for the Jensen.
Glass restorer Mike Smith has already taken delivery of both of the Interceptor's precious screens.
Since I was very, very young, I was a motor engineer, and we'd see scratches on glass, wiper scratches or whatever, and people were always replacing the windscreens. And I discovered there's a way of polishing those to remove them. Hi, Drew.
Mike,
How are you?
How are you?
I'm fine. Let's have a look at the screen, shall we?
They're not great, are they?
They're pretty scratched.
It's got a slight green tint to it, hasn't it?
It has indeed.
There.
The main thing is, Drew, is we've got the wiper scratches coming from, emanating from there all the way over to here. It's a fairly long scratch. The screen is very old, so we have to be very careful that we don't overheat it. The friction causes heat, obviously, and it will just crack.
What happens if you crack it then, Mike?
You've got to find another screen. This one here just wants a clean up, really, with the final pad. That'll be OK.
And costing?
Normally for these we charge about £300.
OK. Not a lot of money for such a lot of work. It's taken a long time to find somebody who can do this and do it properly.
Mike's unique skills will continue long after he retires, as he's passed on the secrets of his process to his apprentice, Ashley.
Fire away, Ashley.
I'm not putting a lot of pressure on it all, I'm just letting the pad do the work.
Are you stopping now because of the heat?
We're just being extra careful. Feel the heat now.
Oh yeah, look at that. That's hot as a piece of toast.
After buffing first with a coarse, then with finer pads, Mike's own recipe for liquid glass polish creates the crystal clear finish.
I can hardly watch now, it's making me tingle.
This is a bit messier.
I'm surprised just how quick it's coming up. You can suddenly see this sort of the mist sort of parting and this beautifully perfect piece of glass emerging from underneath it. Wow.
Well, we've cleaned this section so far, and it's come out pretty good. I'm very happy.
That's super, that, mate. That's lovely.
And as you can see, the rest of the scratch is still there.
Anybody who spends that much time and that much care and effort and is so careful over this much work, that's somebody I want to be dealing with. All right, well, I'm more than happy. I'll leave you to it.
OK, thank you very
Marvellous.
much.
Thanks, guys.
Okay. Well done, Ashley.
At Woodham Mortimer, the painstaking repairs to the bodywork are finally complete. And the car is being returned to the original metallic royal blue it wore when it began life as a factory demonstrator. The boys have also found out they can reinstate the car's original registration number, NEA5L. So at Jepson's in Sheffield, a traditional set of number plates are being made.
So that's the reg set out there, and it's a pair of standard oblong.
The letters are stamped into a blank piece of aluminium, creating an embossed finish, which is then sprayed black. Using thinners, the paint on the raised surfaces is now delicately rubbed away, which reveals the shiny silver letters underneath. And once lacquered, the plates give the car yet another period detail.
There you go.
When Paul and Drew bought their Jensen Interceptor back in 2018,
Thank you very much. Smashing.
they had no idea it would be quite such an epic build. But after almost 3 years of highly skilled restoration work, the car is now being carefully pieced back together. Everything is done by hand, ensuring a finished car that's as beautifully crafted as the day it left the factory. And just a few days later, Paul has arranged to meet Drew in the grounds of Blenheim Palace for a suitably grand unveiling. The last time Drew saw the Interceptor, it was a rusting wreck in white.
Oh, good morning.
Oh, my word. That looks sensational.
Isn't it amazing?
So I arrived today, and then around the corner is a quintessential British icon and Blenheim Palace.
Not that I want to, but I can actually see your face in this here.
God, that's beautiful.
I know.
That's genuinely beautiful. This thing is so damn handsome. It has that thing which I love about good design, where it can be very, very feminine, but brutal at the same time.
As you know, the best thing about this car is all of these panels are the genuine replacement panels made from the same press tools that made the car in the first place. That's as good as you'll ever get, isn't it?
I'm amazed.
There's not much of the original car left on the outside, but what is amazing is, if you look on the inside, as you know, we've managed to save so much of the car. So that's all the original trim reconstructed. It is.
wow.
So it looks incredible. All the original dash. Everything works now as well, which is beautiful. There have been a load of times along the route of this restoration, particularly when the car was in so many bits, that I genuinely thought, are we doing the right thing? Are we just pouring money into a pit? But today, all of those worries, all of that stress, worth every penny.
Go on then, hit me with the price.
22.5 grand we paid for the car. We have now spent over £70,000.
On top of that?
No, that's the total bill. So we need to sell a car for 85 grand, really. The provenance is faultless, isn't it?
Yeah.
Absolutely faultless. So I'm hoping somewhere in that pile of paperwork is an extra 5 grand.
There's always the kudos, isn't there, turning up and going, he's bringing the press car.
Well, it's funny you should say that, because the reason we're at Blenheim today, there's a little car show of other Jensens here today.
Excellent.
There's some notable cars, and there's some people I want to introduce you to as well.
Amazing.
Jump in.
I'll drive then. Oh, it's nice.
This is very much the thing of the landed gentry, to drive up to your country home, down your private driveway, in your Jensen Interceptor, looking, I have to say, the absolute business. I'm so glad we saved it, aren't you?
Definitely. It's lovely.
There you go, look. There's a reunion for you.
The boys have arranged to meet Jensen specialists Matthew and Leah Gilliard-Watts to show them the finished Interceptor. And the couple have brought along some other very important cars in Jensen history.
Jensens, they're just so grand. The power, the speed, wallowing around along the country roads, and they make a lot of people smile.
Hello there.
Hello. Wow. Can you tell us about this one?
This is Eric Morecambe's old car.
No.
What?
Yes.
You're joking.
Yep, and I had the privilege of driving it over today. So,
Wow.
yeah.
Eric Morecambe's car.
You should get in this with your short, fat, hairy legs, shouldn't you?
Yeah, feel free. Feel free.
I'd love to. Oh.
It's been quite.
Oh,
a
it's
drive.
nice, isn't it?
It's
I
I
nice,
prefer the
yeah,
interior.
very
Look at all the
comfortable.
toggles and everything.
Oh, it's really nice
Aren't
in
they
here.
cool?
I want it. What a thing.
You're a little comic genius.
It's so nice.
You've got the same glasses, actually.
Yeah, do that.
Yeah. It's uncanny.
I knew he had a penchant for Rolls Royces. I didn't know he had one of those. I get to sit where the man himself sat, and good choice, sir.
The other two cars are a 1967 FF model, which was the first to feature four-wheel drive, and a bona fide piece of Jensen Interceptor history.
This is number one. It's the oldest Interceptor.
Is it?
Yeah.
Wow.
There was an experimental car on a different chassis plate before this, but this is seen as the first press car, the first Jensen Interceptor.
How cool is that?
Matt and Leah run their own firm restoring Jensens, so the boys are keen to get their expert opinion on the car.
The important bit when you are restoring these cars is to use original pressings and get it right. So you've done a good job there.
Everything's lead-loaded, hand-filed. There's not a skim of filler in this car.
That's what I like to hear.
I'm really glad we didn't throw the towel in. That car needed to be saved. We were the right people to do it. That will now go on, have another rich and interesting history to go on top of the one that we already have found for it. It's an incredible little car.
While the restoration has been a success, the big question is whether the car will make a profit. After months of looking for a private buyer, the boys decide to put the car up for auction.
So I'm wafting through Berkshire now in this beautifully restored Jensen. I'm delivering it to the very lucky winner of our auction for admittedly less than I'd like to have got, but that's how auctions work. We did a no-reserve sale. He bid in good faith. We've sold in good faith. He's paid his money. It's now his car.
The car sold for just over £51,000, far less than the boys had hoped for 4 years ago. Over that time, the classic car market has been hit by the pandemic and rises in the cost of living.
Yes, it's a loss, I'll be honest, but this is such a great car. And this car's like a little portal in time now. It looks and drives and feels like it did when it was put on the road by Jensen as their press demo. So yeah, economically, what a mistake. But I think as a journey, as a piece of restoration, as a project for us to talk about for years to come, what a triumph.
The Jensen's been bought by classic car enthusiast Steve Bolton.
Steve, good morning.
Wow.
Nice to meet you, mate. Welcome to your new car.
Fantastic.
Isn't she gorgeous?
She is, yeah.
Well, as you can see, and as you saw on the auction listing, she is as close to buying a brand new car as you will ever get.
It looks brand new. It looks brand new.
Because you've had these before, haven't you?
I have, yeah, but never as good as this. It's like, happy birthday, happy Christmas. I love my classic cars. I must have 6 at the moment. I've had a few Jensens. They've been a bit ropey, so I've been looking for one that has had all the work done, and this one came up. It just looked absolutely fantastic in the pictures. If I'd have been pushed, I'd have put a few more bids in, but as it is, I think I probably stole it. I'm over the moon, and the guys that have done it are magicians.
It's a great noise, isn't it? Some cars, the end result outweighs any negativity, any money that you've lost. It's kind of worth it. And yes, we've lost a bit of money today, but overall this year, we've made more than we've lost. So that's what matters. We've never spent so long restoring a car. We've never spent so much money on a car, and I can just tell now it's gone to the right home. So enjoy it.
Brilliant.
Cheers, mate. Drew and I have just bought an amazing piece of Jensen history and put it back on the road, and now it's with somebody that will use it and drive it and enjoy it, and that's what it's all about. Hey, enjoy, enjoy.